for potential trade ideas in the Forex realm. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. I want to keep things short, keep things right around the 5-minute mark. So in order to do that, I've got to get started. And let's jump right into news. What is going on in news? So today's a big news day at the U.S. Open, right? So the U.S. Forex session, Canadian Forex session, they begin at 8 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, which is here in about 6 minutes. The challenge today is that at 8:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 my time, we've got some major news. We've got Canadian unemployment change Canadian employment change and the Canadian unemployment rate report will come out. And that's also at the same time following one of the biggest Forex announcements, I guess the most widely watched anyway, which is the U.S. Non-farm employment report. And that's coming out here in just a few minutes. And that's combined with unemployment rate and hourly earnings. And that can certainly be impactful for the US dollar. But because both of these are happening at the same time, what we typically see is right at the news events or right as news is happening. It might be, a few seconds before, maybe up to a minute before, what we'll start to see is we'll see spreads start widening. It'll just go higher, higher, and higher. What that means is orders are coming out of the market. Where market makers are willing to buy and sell is changing. They're taking orders off the book, and that widens the spread between the bid and the ask. The place where people are willing to sell and the place where people are willing to buy gets wider because all those orders in the middle are coming out. The liquidity's leaving a little bit. Now, there's activity, there's volume activity, but that's just orders leaving the book until the employment rate comes out. And then when you get that information, a few seconds later, things start flooding in and then price starts moving around, but the spreads typically stay pretty wide for a little while. A little while being a relative term, we're talking like on either side of this, the bulk of that spread being, maybe 30 seconds where you get these crazy wide spreads. If you're trading on a 5-minute chart and using tighter stops, that volatility between the spreads widening can be dangerous because obviously if you've got a fairly tight stop, you can be slipped quite a bit. If you've got an entry point that's pending out there, just the spreads widening could key you in. As a matter of fact, if you've got a pending order with a tight stop, just the spreads widening could fill you and stop you out at the same time. So it's just a dangerous time to be in the market if you're trading shorter term stuff. Now, if you're trading long term, you're probably fine to leave trades on, let them ride, see what the news does, and then see how the market changes after that. But what we look at here in these morning breakout sessions is we're looking at stuff on a 5-minute chart, maybe even a 1-minute chart some of you guys use. And we're looking for breakout opportunities where we can see what the market's doing, see where the buying and selling is occurring, pair those currencies together, and then take an action, right? So doing that right out of the gate this morning is going to be dangerous. So what we're going to do, the plan today is we'll let the news happen at 7:30, 8:30 my time, or Eastern time. Let the news happen, wait 5 minutes. Then 5 minutes post news, you can look at this chart and you can see what's going on. Post news, which currencies are being heavily bought, which currencies are being heavily sold. How did the news really impact things, right? And once we know which currencies are seeing the buying action, which currencies are seeing the selling action, then we can create that currency pair based on that. And then at that point, go over to our actual charts and see what's moving, right? So if we at that point, let's say, the pound and the dollar have this really big divergence. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen post news, and no one does, right? But let's say the pound just continues to be heavily bought and the dollar continues to be heavily sold. We'd come over here and we just simply take a quick look and see how things are lining up against what our current and our typical range is. And if we've got, volume detail that supports post news, that supports the directionality that we're going to trade in, and then we would take a trade, right? It's just that simple. Don't overthink it. That's the beauty of a breakout trading method is you don't have to overthink it. You give yourself a chance for odds to be in your favor, and you take it. You may lose quite a few in a row, but when you lose, you're going to lose less than you earn when you win, and that gives you positive expectancy over the long term. So that's really it. I'm gonna leave it here. So we don't have a breakout trade right at 8. Today we need to wait. We need to wait until at least 8:35 Eastern time in order to take our trades. All right, so that is it. I hope that gives you a little bit of insight on this. If you're watching the videos and you're like, gosh, what is he talking about with these breakouts? What tools is he using? Yada, yada, yada. I'll try to start breaking those down for you here over the next few, for those that are new to this and haven't seen the breakout trading method. All right, so that's it. I'll be back in a little bit for the futures update, and we'll talk to you soon.